Do you hate how easily someone can upset you from pressing your button? And are you tired of having to apologize for it? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you a 3-step process to getting rid of your button. So let's talk about buttons. We all have them. The expression button pressing comes from the idea that there's a button for certain types of emotions. And as soon as someone presses it, those emotions are released. Sometimes people intentionally press our buttons to get a reaction. But other times, people press our buttons unintentionally. Regardless if our buttons are pressed intentionally or unintentionally, the result is still the same: extreme anger or rage. So now I want you to imagine that you didn't have any buttons. Imagine that your team couldn't get a reaction out of you. Or maybe your classmates couldn't get you to be so upset. Imagine how happy you would be if there were no buttons to press. Well, lucky for you, you are watching this video because I'm going to share a 3-step process on how to get rid of those buttons. First, you want to choose a button. So let's say your button is someone who is chewing their gum loudly. They're smacking. So imagine that you're sitting in a library. You're reading or studying, and then someone right next to you starts to smack. For some of you, it would make you extremely annoyed, extremely upset. But once you have chosen your button, the next step is to ask yourself this simple question: what is my interpretation? We are constantly interpreting things all day. If someone smiles at us, we can interpret that as they're being nice, they're trying to say hello, or maybe they're trying to flirt. You see, it's an interpretation because we don't know the intention. Even if we ask them the intention, we don't know if they're telling us the truth. So all we can do is guess. We come up with an interpretation that makes sense to us. So if someone is smacking their gum, maybe you may be interpreting that as a person is being rude or inconsiderate. And if that's what you're interpreting, then it makes sense why that would make you upset. It makes sense that you would be angry. So now you know why you have a button. It's not the fact that someone is chewing their gum loudly that's causing you to be upset. It's the fact that a person is being rude by doing something annoying. So it's not the gum smacking, it's the rudeness. So the final step is ask yourself, what's another interpretation? Since we know that if our interpretation is someone being rude to us, it's going to make us upset. So let's change the interpretation. Maybe the person just doesn't know that they're smacking their gum loudly. Or maybe they're chewing their gum loudly because they want to get all the flavor of the gum because it's so good. And they want the world to know it so they can share how good the gum tastes. So what's your reaction now? If you believe that interpretation, maybe you will laugh about it. Who knows? Maybe you may ask the person for a piece of gum and chew loudly along with them. My point is, your interpretation is what causes your reaction. So if you have a negative reaction, change the interpretation, then it would change your reaction. It's very important to get rid of those buttons. If you have a button, it's almost like you're a puppet, and the person who's pressing the button is a puppet master. Always remember, buttons are meant to be pressed. Therefore, it's not the person's fault who presses them. It's the fault of the person who has one. Well, I hope that helps. Until next time, continue smiling out.